Dawn breathes over the Okavango Delta, spilling light across a waking world of reeds, mirrors, and mist. The air hums with quiet, the kind that belongs to moments before memory. Amara moves slowly through the grass, her shadow stretching over the soft body of her calf, Kito, who still sleeps beneath the acacia tree. Around them, the herd stirs. A chorus of low rumbles, distant trumpets, the sigh of great lungs filling with mourning. Daniel watches from the edge of the marsh, camera poised, unaware that this tranquil symphony will soon fracture. The elephants move with ancient patience, tracing paths carved by generations. Every gesture feels eternal, every sound sacred. This is the calm, a fragile, golden stillness, before the storm that will echo through their hearts forever. Mid-morning, heat gathers like breath held too long. The herd drifts toward a shallow pool, feet sinking softly in wet earth. Amara leads with patience, her shadow long and certain, while Kito splashes beside her, trumpeting tiny bursts of joy that startle birds from the reeds. The sound is laughter in elephant form. Daniel adjusts his lens, smiling as he whispers into his recorder. A calf's first play with water, but then a flicker. Kito pauses, trembles, trunk quivering midair. The laughter stops. A silence presses down, heavy and strange. Amara turns, ears flared, something ancient stirring behind her eyes. In the hush that follows, the delta seems to hold its breath. The rhythm of life hesitates, suspended between the joy that was and the loss yet to come. The moment collapses in a breath. Kito staggers, one leg buckling beneath him, eyes wide with confusion. The herd halts. A ripple of low rumbles moves through the air, a language older than grief itself. Amara rushes to his side, trunk sweeping the dust, trying to lift, to coax, to breathe life where it's leaving. Daniel lowers his camera. His voice, soft, breaks the silence. No. No! The sun burns white overhead, unblinking, merciless. Sefu, the matriarch, steps forward, her towering frame radiating gravity. The herd forms a circle, shadows closing around Kito's small, still form. The world grows unbearably quiet, as if even the wind refuses to intrude. The call begins as a whisper, a tremor in Amara's chest that deepens into a low, haunting rumble. It rolls through the grasslands, vibrating the air like thunder, mourning the sky. The herd responds, their bodies swaying gently, their rumbles weaving into hers. A chorus of sorrow, ancient and raw. Daniel's hands tremble. He's heard that elephants mourn, but hearing it is not the same as feeling it. The sound fills the space between heartbeats. Dust rises with every movement, golden and slow, as if time itself has thickened in grief. Amara stays by Kito, trunk resting across his side, unwilling to let go. Above them, vultures circle, silent witnesses to a sacred pain. Evening descends, and with it, a solemn rhythm. The sky deepens to violet. Long shadows stretch like memories. One by one, the herd begins to move again, hesitant, leaving Amara behind. She remains by Kito's side, her massive frame motionless against the falling light. Daniel watches from afar, eyes wet, voice cracking into his recorder. She hasn't moved for hours. The air cools, the silence deepens, and distant frogs begin their mournful songs. In the final light, Amara raises her trunk, tracing the air above her calf's form, as if mapping the shape of his soul. A mother's love, endless, untranslatable, lingers even when breath is gone. Night folds over the delta. The stars spill their silver light across still water, and the air carries a chill that seeps into bone and memory. Amara stands unmoving beside Kito, her great body outlined by moonlight, a silent sentinel of love and loss. Insects hum softly around them, the rhythm of life persisting, indifferent. Every few minutes she rumbles, a low, trembling note that fades into the dark, unanswered. Daniel, wrapped in his jacket, whispers into his recorder, "She hasn't eaten. She hasn't moved." Beyond the reeds, the herd waits. Even the matriarch, Sefu, keeps her distance, as if giving Amara space to speak to something unseen. Time dissolves into the endless night, grief made visible beneath the stars. Dawn returns, fragile and quiet. The light paints Amara's body in soft gold, but her eyes remain dark, unmoving. The herd approaches slowly, their steps tentative, respectful. Naya steps forward first, young and uncertain, reaching her trunk toward Amara's shoulder. Amara doesn't move. Not yet. The matriarch, Sifu, lowers her head and releases a low-frequency call, deep and resonant. It rolls across the plains like a prayer. Daniel films from afar, whispering, "They're communicating. It's a vigil." Wind stirs the grass, carrying dust and memory together. The world feels heavy, wrapped in an invisible weight. Only the elephants seem to understand. Hours pass. The sun climbs high, painting harsh light across the land. Amara nudges Kito's small body again and again, unwilling to believe the stillness. Her trunk searches for warmth, for breath, for heartbeat. When none comes, she bellows, long and mournful, a sound that shakes the ground. The herd responds from afar, their rumbling chorus answering her cry. Daniel lowers his head, unable to watch. It's not animal behavior he sees, but a mother's soul unraveling. Dust rises around her feet, shimmering like smoke. The camera captures her silhouette framed by the endless savanna, a monument of grief in motionless time. The herd gathers closer now. Naya leans against Amara's side. Sifu steps forward and touches Kito's body with her trunk, then raises her head to the sky. One by one, others follow. A ritual without words. Each elephant pauses to touch, to smell, to remember. Daniel records in silence, overwhelmed by the sacredness unfolding before him. This is not instinct, it is communion. The sounds are soft and low, like murmured hymns beneath the wind. The air thickens with the pulse of shared sorrow. For the first time, Amara leans slightly toward Sefu, a gesture of acceptance or surrender or both. Evening drapes the delta once more. The herd retreats to nearby trees, but Amara remains. Her breath rises in clouds beneath the cooling sky. Daniel whispers, "She's still there." The light fades to blue. The matriarch pauses, glancing back before leading the others away. The unspoken understanding of loss shared across generations. Fireflies begin to glow, dancing above Kito's still form like tiny souls. Amara lowers her head, trunk coiled protectively around her calf, as the stars ignite overhead. Grief becomes stillness. Stillness becomes devotion. The delta sleeps, but her vigil continues. Unbroken, unending, unforgotten. 3 days have passed. The air smells of rain and wilted grass. Amara still stands beside Kito, unmoving, her body streaked with dust and dried tears. The herd had left, yet their absence weighs heavier than the silence. But as dawn breaks on the fourth morning, distant rumbles tremble through the earth. Faint at first, then nearer. The herd is returning. They come not to feed or rest, but to remember. Sifu leads them, her pace slow, deliberate. Behind her, Naya walks with lowered head. Daniel steadies his camera, whispering, "They came back." What draws them? Memory, duty, love. Cannot be measured. The delta holds its breath again as the elephants gather. carrying with them the echoes of their shared heart. They approach without sound. The air fills with the tremor of low rumbles. Vibrations felt more than heard. One by one, they form a slow circle around Amara and Kito. No command, no signal, yet perfect rhythm. Amara looks up briefly, her eyes dull but aware. Sefu extends her trunk, touching Amara's shoulder first, then Kito's still form. The others follow. Their movements are gentle, precise, deliberate, as if they are weaving something unseen around the fallen calf. Remembrance. Daniel's breath catches. "They mourn like us," he whispers. In that moment, there is no difference between species, only the universal pulse of love that endures loss. For hours they remain. No feeding, no movement beyond gentle sway and breath. The herd hums in resonance, a harmony of low frequencies that ripple through the ground. Daniel places a hand on the soil, feeling the vibration beneath his palm. His voice shakes. They're communicating through the earth. A female calf kneels bravely beside Kito's body, trunk tracing his outline, then rests her forehead on the ground. Even the smallest among them participate, as if born with the language of mourning. Above, clouds drift across the sun, filtering the light into muted silver. The world slows to match their grief. Afternoon light turns amber. The herd shifts, forming a line. Sefu leads them to a nearby acacia tree, the same that shaded Kito's birth. The ground there is rich, marked by old footprints. Amara follows last, her steps slow, uncertain. They begin to throw dust over their backs and onto Kito's small body, coating him in earth. The sound is soft, the whisper of dust meeting skin. Daniel's camera trembles, tears fog his lens. The elephants linger, trunks raised, a salute to what once lived. The ritual ends as quietly as it began. The sky deepens, their shadows long and solemn. Evening returns with the scent of rain. The herd stands one final time beside Amara. Their low rumbles merge into a single steady tone, an elegy carried on the wind. Amara lowers her head, touching Kito's resting place, then turns toward the setting sun. The others follow her gaze. For a heartbeat, they are all still. A family suspended between earth and memory. Then, slowly, Sifu moves forward, guiding them away. Amara stays until the last shadow fades, her eyes reflecting firelight from the horizon. When she finally walks, she doesn't look back. The Delta exhales. The long goodbye has begun. Rain whispers across the plains. Daniel sits beneath his weather tarp. Camera still, eyes fixed on Amara through the storm. She has not moved far, her silhouette framed by sheets of falling water. He speaks into his recorder, voice low, reverent. "I've studied behavior my whole life, but this is something else." His notebook lies open, ink running with the rain. He writes words like ritual, memory, and love. Then crosses them out. Science doesn't make space for sorrow. The lens fogs with moisture, and for a moment, the image softens. Amara becomes a blur of shadow and grace, an ancient statue, mourning the shape of time itself. The rain clears by afternoon, leaving steam rising from the soaked grass. Daniel walks closer. 50 meters, maybe less. Careful, reverent. Amara turns her head slightly, but doesn't flee. Her eyes meet his. Between them lies silence, dense and electric. "She knows," he whispers. "She knows I've been watching." He lowers his camera, no longer needing to document. In that gaze, he feels an ancient comprehension, one that asks, no permission, and offers no defense. For the first time in his career, Daniel feels like the intruder. A witness standing at the threshold of something sacred and unbearably human. That night, Daniel records his reflections by lamplight. His words come haltingly, carried by exhaustion and awe. "We call it empathy," he murmurs. "But maybe it's older than language." He rewinds his footage frame by frame. The herds return, their synchronized stillness, the dust ritual. Each moment feels orchestrated by something beyond instinct. He pauses on Amara's final touch upon Kito's side. "How do you measure a mother's heart?" His voice falters. "You don't. You feel it." Outside, distant thunder rolls. The Delta breathes in sleep, heavy and alive, as Daniel's tears blur the screen. Morning breaks soft and golden. Daniel wakes to silence, steps out of his tent, and finds the clearing empty. Amara is gone. Only the disturbed earth where Kito lay remains. He kneels, tracing the ground gently, fingers finding a small indentation. A footprint, hers, pressed deep into the soil. The grass still holds the curve of her body, a ghostly outline of devotion. He breathes, voice barely audible. She left him to the land. For the first time, Daniel feels peace. Not for himself, but for her. The Delta hums with renewal. Dragonflies skim the air, and the silence is no longer grief, but grace. Later that evening, Daniel climbs a ridge overlooking the Delta. Below, he sees the herd moving slowly west. Amara among them, her gait steady, trunk swaying in rhythm with the others. The sunset burns red over the horizon, the sky alive with migrating birds. Daniel lifts his camera one final time but doesn't record. He simply watches, hand over his heart. "She's still walking," he says softly. "Still carrying him?" The camera fades to black as the herd dissolves into the golden distance, their silhouettes swallowed by the endless breath of the land. Weeks pass. The rains end, leaving the Delta awash with green and reflection. Life returns, yet something lingers in the air, a tenderness woven through every sound the herd makes. Naya walks beside Amara now, her movements slower, measured. She mimics the elders' pauses, her subtle gestures, her silences. Amara's eyes have softened, though the sorrow never fully leaves them. When the herd drinks, Naya raises her trunk toward the wind, exactly as Amara once did for Kito. Daniel watches from afar, recording in silence. "She's teaching without words," he whispers. The world renews itself, but within that renewal echoes the memory of a life lost and a love that endures beyond it. That evening, the herd gathers beneath the acacia where Kito once rested. The ground is different now, grass grown tall over the soil. Amara pauses, trunk brushing the spot with infinite gentleness. Naya steps closer, mimicking the gesture. The matriarch rumbles low, approvingly. The air feels charged with recognition, the invisible continuity of memory. Daniel lowers his camera. He doesn't need evidence anymore. The truth is living before him. The elephants do not forget. They remember as the land remembers, through roots, through scent, through silence. The wind carries the faint echo of a calf's trumpet, almost imagined, yet unmistakable. Night falls soft and slow. Naya stays close to Amara, resting her head against the elder's shoulder. The stars spill across the sky like ancient witnesses. Somewhere in the dark, the herd hums a low resonance. Faint, melodic, almost mournful. It is the same tone Amara once sang for Kito. Now, Naya's voice joins it, hesitant but true. A duet between generations, a bridge of feeling. Daniel records it, hand trembling, whispering, "It's a song, The sound rolls through the grass and disappears into the night, leaving only the heartbeat of crickets and the quiet breathing of the herd. Dawn again. The herd moves together toward open plains. Amara leads, slower now. Yet Naya stays close, guiding the young calves through puddles and reeds. The rhythm of migration returns, but different, gentler, more deliberate. As they walk, Amara emits a deep, melodic rumble. The calves respond in small, playful trumpets, their voices weaving into hers. Naya hums the same note Amara taught her. Daniel follows from afar, camera lowered, eyes full of wonder. In his journal he writes, "Memory isn't bound to the mind. It breathes through the living." The herd disappears into the bright horizon, shadows melting into the land that remembers all. Evening settles, soft and crimson. The herd rests near a shallow lake, reflections shimmering like ghosts of the day. Naya wanders to the water's edge and stares at her mirrored self. Older now in posture, wiser in stillness. Behind her, Amara stands watching. For the first time, a faint smile shapes Daniel's face as he whispers, "She's becoming her." The camera lingers on Naya's reflection as ripples distort it. Not loss, but transformation. Across the water, thunder grumbles. Not a warning, but a song of continuity. The delta breathes, eternal and forgiving, carrying with it the echo of every memory ever lived. The sky darkens with the scent of rain. The air thickens, heavy with memory. Amara stands alone at the edge of the marsh, her reflection distorted by wind-rippled water. Behind her, the herd grazes in silence, distant but aware. A low rumble rolls across the plains. Not thunder yet, but its promise. Daniel lifts his camera, instinctively zooming in on her. He senses it. The calm before something sacred. The world seems to tilt into stillness as the first drops fall. Amara raises her trunk to the wind, breathing in the storm. It is the same wind that once carried her calf's scent. Her eyes close, as if listening to an echo only she can hear. Rain falls harder. The sky opens in sheets of silver. Amara lowers her head, water streaming down her tusks like tears. The herd begins to move toward higher ground, but she does not follow. Daniel's voice trembles as he whispers into his recorder. "She's staying." Each raindrop strikes like a memory. Her massive body sways slightly, every motion deliberate, ceremonial. The earth softens beneath her feet. This is not grief now. It is farewell spoken through posture and breath. When lightning flashes for an instant, she glows, a monument of love made luminous in the storm. The rain eases into mist. Daniel moves closer, his boots sinking in wet earth. Amara doesn't move, doesn't flinch. He stops 20 meters away, lowering his camera, whispering softly, "It's okay." She exhales, trunk curling briefly toward him. A gesture of acknowledgement. Then she turns toward the acacia tree, the place where Kito once slept, each step heavy, deliberate, yet dignified. She reaches the clearing and stands still again, raindrops glittering on her skin. Around her, the world feels infinite, softened by fog. Daniel realizes he's watching something ancient, an instinct shaped by emotion, by love that endures beyond form. At the acacia's base, Amara pauses. The earth there is darker, still marked faintly by the outline of where Kito once lay. She lowers her trunk, brushing the ground slowly, tracing memory in soil. The rain stops entirely. Only the sound of dripping leaves remains. Amara stands in silence, eyes closed. Daniel turns off his camera. There are no words left, no science to explain this moment. It is pure connection, mother to child, spirit to land. A faint rumble rises from her chest, deep and low. It travels across the flooded plains, echoing into eternity. Dusk descends once more, The herd returns from the ridge, their bodies outlined by orange twilight. Naya approaches Amara, hesitant but drawn by instinct. The young one emits a soft rumble, the same tone Amara once used to mourn. Amara responds with a quiet, steady note: acceptance. They stand side by side as the sky burns red, the storm clouds fading into gold. Daniel films one last time, whispering, "She's letting go." The camera lingers on the two elephants framed by light. A mother's farewell, a daughter's inheritance. As the sun sinks, the delta exhales. Night swallows the horizon in silence and peace. The seasons turn. Grass grows tall where sorrow once lay. The Okavango hums with life. Frogs singing, dragonflies shimmering in sunlight. Months have passed since the rain. Amara moves slower now, her gait heavy but steady, carrying the rhythm of many migrations. Daniel has left. Only his footprints remain near the old acacia. From afar, a small calf trumpets playfully, Naya's firstborn. The herd has expanded, carrying with it the unspoken legacy of grief turned to wisdom. Amara pauses near the tree once more, her trunk brushing the bark gently, like greeting an old friend. Time folds in on itself, loss transformed into belonging. She stops before the mound that once held Kito's small form. The earth has smoothed, covered in wild flowers. Her trunk glides across them gently, lifting petals to the wind. The air vibrates with quiet, the kind that belongs to remembering. The herd slows behind her, forming a soft half-circle, watching in silence. Even Naya's calf senses the weight of the moment, his playful steps halting. Amara rumbles once, low and deep, and the sound moves through them all like a pulse. For a moment, time itself seems to bow. The land, the wind, the living, and the lost, all in one breath. Daniel's final recording plays faintly over the scene, his voice a ghost carried on the wind. Somewhere between instinct and emotion, there is understanding. And in that understanding, we find ourselves. The camera pans across the landscape, wide, endless, eternal. Amara remains motionless for a long time, then turns her head toward the horizon. Her eyes glimmer with reflected light, neither sad nor joyous, only full. She begins to walk, slowly at first, then with the rhythm of life itself. Behind her, the herd follows, the small calf at Naya's side. The echoes of their rumbles fade into the shimmering air. The sun dips low, turning the delta into liquid fire. Shadows stretch long and soft across the grass. Amara stops at the edge of the water, gazing into her reflection. For a heartbeat, the rippling surface mirrors two figures, herself and a smaller one beside her. Then the reflection breaks as the water moves, and only sky remains. A faint smile seems to form in her posture, a quiet release. Naya calls softly from behind, her voice carrying both gratitude and love. Amara turns and joins her, the two walking side by side into the crimson light. Night falls slow and soft. The stars return, the same that witnessed her vigil long ago. The herd gathers beneath the acacia, their shapes blending into the darkness. Crickets sing, frogs answer. The camera lifts upward, rising above the land until the elephants become small, moving constellations of gray beneath the silver sky. Daniel's final words return, faint. Grief doesn't end. It changes shape. The music swells, strings, wind, heartbeat. The last image holds Amara's fading silhouette as the wind stirs the grass where Kito once lay.